Hi, my name is Vikram Gupta and welcome to PreSales Collective's Journey to PreSales. We will be listening to fascinating stories of SCs that made their journey into solutions engineering as a career. Our goal is to inspire you because if they can do it, so can you.
Hi, and welcome to PreSales Collective Journey to PreSales, where we talk to people in PreSales about their journeys. My name is Alisha Harper, and I am the Director of PreSales Talent Innovation for Dell Technologies. And I'm joined here by Alisha Tungare with Salesforce. Alisha, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Alisha. I'm currently a Senior Solutions Engineer at Salesforce, and I've been in the role for about 2.5 years right now. In my role, I specifically support the Revenue Cloud product at Salesforce, and I act as the strategic engineer for my team. So I support East, Central, and West on all sorts of strategic deals.
So what is something fun that you love to do that you weren't able to do in 2020?
Yeah, so I live in Chicago, and we have a ton of great restaurants. One of my favorite things to do while living here has been to just try out different restaurants, different bars in the area. And that was something I didn't do this past year just to avoid going indoors. So I'm looking forward to that now.
Yeah. Are most restaurants open now?
Most of them are open, yes. And now that it's so nice out, we have a lot of outdoor seating as well.
So many people stumble upon, pre-sales as a career. Tell us your story.
Yeah, I literally stumbled into it. So my background is actually in chemical engineering. I graduated from Purdue about 6 years ago. And after that, I took kind of a traditional chemical engineering route. So I worked in oil and gas for a few years, started up different refineries, traveled full time. But a few years into that, I really wanted to enter the technology space, but I didn't want to lose that engineering side. So I was looking for different roles that would kind of combine some people skills and some engineering. And that's how I came to Salesforce. So I actually arrived at Salesforce as a demo engineer, which means I wasn't customer facing, but I was building those demos for customers. And then a few years into that, I transitioned into a solutions engineering role. And that's really been like the perfect combination of engineering and customer facing for me.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned that you're like the strategic engineer too in your role. What does that mean?
Yeah, so it's actually a pretty new role here at Salesforce. And it's a way for us to kind of bring together different resources in the best way possible for a deal. So sometimes we have deals that are really large or really complex, and it just helps to have more brains on a deal. So in this case, I would support the primary solutions engineer on that deal. I could help them run things like workshops, help with any enablement of the customer or of the account executives, and just really support them where needed.
Okay, so still in pre-sales, but just a little bit more overarching, and you get to do a lot of different things.
Yeah, absolutely.
What kind of skills did you gain from your previous role that really helped you whenever you went into pre-sales?
Troubleshooting, for sure. So listening to a customer, kind of understanding their needs or sometimes their issues, and then being able to deliver a solution for them. And that solution might be technical. Sometimes it might be just providing them with a different resource. But I really think any of those customer service skills or customer facing skills that you can develop in a lot of jobs are really helpful in pre-sales.
And I mean, chemical engineering, most people wouldn't think about that as a degree, right, to get into pre-sales. But one of the things I love about pre-sales is there's no box. So, what advice would you have for somebody that doesn't have maybe a degree that you would typically associate with pre-sales?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just find those areas of commonality. So even if the product that you're currently working on or the solution you're currently working on doesn't align with your pre-sales goals, what are those skills that you've developed that do align? So, for example, customer service, customer interaction, problem solving, being resourceful and working with different groups of people. I think that can be found in a lot of different industries, and then it's so applicable to pre-sales.
What do you really love about pre-sales?
I love working with different people. So I think pre-sales is I would break it into 3 buckets. There's the technical aspect of it. Then there's kind of the value selling and drawing those lines between the technical and, the customer's needs. And then there's just working with people. There's the sales aspect. And that's really been my favorite part, just learning about different people's businesses and getting to meet different people.
What advice did you get that you think was the most valuable whenever you were entering into this career?
I think the most valuable was knowing that I didn't need to have all the answers. So when I first came into this role, I was really nervous. I didn't know everything about the Revenue Cloud product that I sell now. I didn't know all the different problems that a customer could have that I would need to solve. And that's okay. I really think our role in pre-sales is to find resources as needed and kind of orchestrate and bring them together. But it's okay if you don't have all the answers. It's okay to tell a customer, I'll get back to you, or I'll find someone who does have that answer. That's good.
And customers are generally okay with that, right?
Customers would always rather hear that you'll get back to them with an answer than, have something made up. So I think a lot of people appreciate that transparency.
Yeah. So is there any kind of like training or books that somebody can read if this sounds really interesting and they want to get into pre-sales, or any prep that they can do to help them make themselves a better candidate for pre-sales?
Yeah, I think one book that comes to mind is called Demo to Win. And I actually read this back when I was a demo engineer. But it's all about different tips and tricks for when you are presenting demos to a customer. And then the other big thing is really just practice. So practice presenting, practice talking to different types of people. There's of course, always the technical aspect, but then even things like intonation, pace. Are you allowing pauses for questions? And that's something that just comes with practice.
So what has going into pre-sales, how has it opened up doors for you or impacted your career journey?
Yeah, it's impacted it in a pretty big way for me. As I was in this pre-sales role, I actually started and just recently completed my MBA. And that was a really cool experience to kind of do this role and that education side by side, because I got to apply a lot of what I learned in this environment. And it kind of motivated me to get that MBA in the first place, because I realized with my technical background, maybe there was some knowledge I was lacking on the financial side and the business side of how companies worked. And then in terms of just, future goals, it's also helped me see additional options for future roles. So whereas I previously might have thought I have to stay technical because I'm an engineer, now I see that there are a lot of opportunities on the business and product and marketing side of things.
Okay, now we'll go into the rapid fire questions. I think we've covered some of these, but one is, how do you leverage your strengths every day in pre-sales?
In my relationships with people. So in working with other people at my company, in working with partners that we might reach out to, and definitely working with customers.
What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
I hate to say it, but check my email. It's always the first thing. Make sure I don't have any pings from people, any emails, and it kind of helps me plan my day. So I know some people like to take their time, maybe they meditate, get a coffee, but I like to get a start on the day. So
that's great. Yeah, I know it's hard not to sometimes, but where would you want to retire? I know that's a long way off for you. You're relatively young, and then also, how does being in this career help you with your long-term goals like retirement?
All right, where I want to retire? Ooh, definitely somewhere warm. So I love Chicago this time of year, but not so much for the 6 months where it's below freezing. And I would say this career helps me towards retirement because I do like the flexibility of being in pre-sales. So a lot of it, depends on the company you're at, and I'm really lucky to be at a company that's very flexible. But I know that I can switch careers into a number of different, tangential roles if I need to. I could continue on in pre-sales and be an expert, and all of these things are going to help me kind of build that career towards retirement without getting bored.
That's great. Well, Alisha, it was fantastic talking to you. Thank you so much for doing this and for joining me. Is there anything else you want to leave our audience with before we sign off?
Just that if you're really interested in pre-sales, I say go for it. Best decision I ever made. No regrets at all.
That's awesome. I would highly encourage people to do the same. So thank you so much. I loved hearing your journey and your story, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.